Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. That's an old school nursery rhyme. You probably never stop to think, what are curds and whey? This is whole milk from the dairy. And you can take whole milk and you can make it into curds and whey. Curds and whey, well, curds are cottage cheese or ricotta cheese. And whey is what happens when you curdle the milk into curds and whey. W-H-E-Y. Whey protein. You've probably seen this in smoothies and all kinds of things before, but you never put two and two together, that curds and whey are cottage cheese or ricotta cheese and whey protein. So today we're going to make some fresh from scratch. First you want to pour 3/4 of a cup of vinegar or lemon juice. I'm using my homemade white grape vinegar. Watch my video, Why Make Vinegar. You're going to need about 1 gallon of milk, the good stuff. This I got from the dairy. This is pure 100% milk made from grass-fed cows, straight from the dairy. Put that into your large stock pot. Put your burner on medium-high heat between 5 and 6 on most stoves. Constantly stir while checking the temperature. You're going to keep stirring until the temperature reaches 190 degrees. Once you get to 190, you want to turn your burner off. Cover it and leave it on your stove for 30 minutes to rest. Now we're going to drain this. So what I did is I took my big mixing bowl and I put a bowl in there upside down and a colander on top. Cut yourself a piece of cheesecloth big enough to fit fully inside your colander. Now drain the mixture. The curds will stay on the top in the colander while the whey protein drains out the bottom. You're going to let this rest and drain in an additional 30 minutes. Now carefully gather up your cheesecloth, gently squeezing out any remaining liquid. Not all of it, just gently squeezing out liquid. Gently rinse off your curds inside your cheesecloth about 3 times. Empty your curds into a small bowl. Just shake everything out of the cheesecloth gently. You should get about 2 cups of curds for 1 gallon of milk. Now you're going to add salt to taste. I'm using sea salt here, and I used maybe a teaspoon and a half. If you like creamy ricotta cheese or cottage cheese, add a couple tablespoons of heavy cream in at a time. All in all, I ended up adding about 9 tablespoons to mine to get the consistency that I like best. There you have it, homemade cottage cheese or ricotta cheese. Let's give it a taste. That's incredible. So you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between ricotta cheese and cottage cheese? Near as I can tell, it's really only the consistency of the curds. I've made something kind of, I think, closer to ricotta cheese today because the curds are very small. It's my belief, having made this the first time, that if you want to have something more like cottage cheese with bigger curds, you could increase the temperature from 190 to 200. But don't go above that because you don't want the milk to boil and everything's going to spoil and burn. But maybe take it up to 200, and I might add a little more vinegar. And by the way, I'll mention one more time, I used homemade vinegar today to curdle the milk to make my ricotta cottage cheese. And I think it turned out great. I am wondering though, what would happen if I use 3/4 or a cup of my strawberry banana homemade vinegar to make the cottage cheese? Would it taste a little bit like strawberry banana? Or would it not? I'm not sure. It would still curdle the milk and work. If you don't have homemade vinegar, if you don't have regular vinegar in your house, you can always curdle your milk with lemon juice. It will work just as well. Just remember, use the highest quality milk that you could possibly find. It's a lot of work to make your own ricotta or cottage cheese from scratch. It really is. But I think it was worth it because we're going to try making a pastry later this week with this homemade fresh ricotta cheese. Also, if we use this in something like lasagna or baked pasta or casserole, man, it would be so good. I also think making this in the future and maybe putting on a flatbread with some oregano is going to be outstanding as well. I wouldn't make this all the time because of the time involved, but I think I will make it from time to time because it's so good, it's so fresh. It kind of reminds me of when I got ricotta cheese, over in Europe. In European countries, it's usually fresh, it's very fresh. And this is exactly what that tastes like, and it's got just the amount of salt in it that I like. As well, I got all this great whey protein that I can now use to make smoothies and sauces and all kinds of different things. So it's not like the rest of the milk went to waste. I also have some other videos that you might want to check out, like why make vinegar. I tell you about making my homemade vinegar, and I've made homemade butter, and yesterday I made mayonnaise from scratch, also using homemade vinegar. So be sure to check those out on my profile. If you like today's content, please share on your profile with other people, and be sure to subscribe to see more.